I'm Jason, this is the Freebird Garage. Today we're doing a how-to on a spark plug change for a Harley Davidson Sportster 1200C from 1998. We're going to be followed by the beautiful service manual. Now, I was hesitant to actually do a spark plug change because most people know how to do spark plugs. But when I went to go in the book just to see if there was any fine detail that could be missed when doing the simplest repairs on these bikes, there's a whole section on actually doing them. It's some good points and some good, specs that you should follow by when you do it. So when you're out searching on how to get a spark plug done or replaced on your Sportster, hopefully this video finds your way, because if it's your first time, it's better off knowing how to do it correctly than to not. So let's dive into it. All right, we're on the spark plug side of the bike, the B side as some call it. Now, if you can't find this side of the bike, you probably shouldn't be touching your bike in the first place. All right, it's got two wires. That's what we're working with, where the spark plugs are at. And let's go over some materials, of course, what you're gonna need. Now, where is it? The 6 R12 spark plugs, right there. One of those. 5/8 socket to pull them off. You're gonna need a gapper, of course. Anti-seize. Ratchet. And some kind of torque wrench. Get your torque specs right. Now, of course, if you have something other than those R612 spark plugs, which are a copper plug, you don't want to gap them and scrape away at them. You need to use a proper feeler gauge to be able to actually gap that plug correctly. You're going to remove any of the special coating that they have on top and take that nice $16, $20 plug and just make it a pretty much garbage or a copper plug at that point. So just to give yourself a heads up, if you want to spend the extra money on those fancy plugs, don't do that step. You ruin it. Copper plugs are just fine for this. All right, so let's get into tearing it apart. Starting off with the rear jug, remove the boot. There. Get our socket on the plug. There we go. All right, first one's off. Let's go with the front jug. Same thing repeated. Pop the boot off there. Let's get our socket on. All right. This is why you double check your plugs, because first one we pulled out looks fantastic. Nice brown rustic with a little bit of the white of the electrode coming through. It's firing well. The second one, the front cylinder right there, black, sooted up, smells of fuel, fouled out, probably running too rich. But what does that exactly mean, right? Too rich? Well, you could have just adjust your air fuel mixture. That's one way to do it. But there could be more that you could be skipping over. Now, what the book shows, 4 different problems that you could be coming across. 1, a wet, black, and shiny deposit on the plug base electrodes and ceramic insulator tip indicates an oil foul plug. The condition may be caused by one or more of the following: worn pistons, worn piston rings, worn valves, worn valve guides, worn valve seals, a weak battery, or faulty ignition. Now, this isn't my bike, this is my brother's bike, and he has mentioned to me that he wants a dyno tune on his timing, so that could be the reason why it's fouled out the way that it is. Now, they also have 2 other indications that you should be looking for, or 3 as the final one. The other is a dry, fluffy, or sooty black deposit, indicates a carburetor air fuel mixture that is too rich, an engine idling or excessive period of time, and or enricher usage of excessive period of time. So essentially, you're just continuously using your choke for way too long, fouling it out. That's another way. Also, a light brown glassy deposit indicates an overheated plug. The condition may be accompanied by cracks in the insulator or by erosion of the electrodes and caused by an air fuel mixture that is too lean. A hot running engine valve not seating must be replaced. And finally, what you do want to find on your plug, and what we found on the rear cylinder or jug, is a plug with a white, yellow, tan, or rusty brown powdery deposit indicating a balanced combustion. Clean up spark plug deposits or regular intervals, see cleaning. Now, they get into cleaning on this book, which is interesting because every 5,000 miles, they actually want you to clean your plugs. They actually want you to go through, do the proper way to do it, and actually they show you in the book how to hammer it exactly on the electrode and or the gapping, and you want to check, and how to properly clean everything off. Then every 10,000 miles, you should be switching out your spark plug. So this could be well underdue for, or well overdue for a spark plug change. So that could be the timing of it. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what you want to look for when you're getting into changing your spark plug, and not just assuming, well, it's 10,000 miles, time to swap it out. Here's new plugs. You're just kind of duplicating or not looking further into the problem that your bike is having, and you know, you're robbing yourself of one, performance, or two, you could be damaging your bike down the long run and you're just gonna break down without seeing it. So let's get into actually installing these plugs and take it from there. All right, so setting these up for install, I checked the gap on the old spark plug, just curious, especially on the fouled out one here, and it's right on where we need to be, 0.041. So that was gapped correctly, so that's good to know. Pull up the new one there, and by the service manual we need to be about 0.038 to 0.043. So we're going to use our gapper here. Just probably apart this a little bit more. Don't want to damage the electrode there. Just bend it up. There we go. Slide it. Slide it. There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to land right on that 0.040. That gives us right in between, right there. Before we install these, by the service manual as well, and I highly recommend this, is a nice light coating of some anti-seize we're going to throw on there. There we go. Looks good. Let's get them installed. We're going to torque it down. 11 to 18 foot-pounds is what the book says you need to be at. Now, if you don't have a torque wrench too, it does mention that you would just do it finger tight and then go about a quarter of a turn on the socket if you can't get a torque wrench available. So we're going to go down to first 11. There we go. And we're going to bump it up to our 18 now. All right, that's 18. All right, 11 foot-pounds right there. And now we're gonna hit it with the 18 foot-pounds. All right, 18, boot on, good to go. Bam, there it is, spark plug change all complete. That about wraps it for me in this one. I would greatly appreciate if you could hit the subscribe button, tap that like, press the notification, leave a comment below and tell me what you think. And for those who have already subscribed, thank you, and as always, stay free. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.